Welcome to the Abundance Journey, the show that helps spiritual entrepreneurs create an abundance mindset that accelerates revenue. Secretly, everything you experience in your life is actually abundance. Once you understand how to activate abundance, you find yourself in flow with your business and clients, so it's easy to create the revenue you want. The Abundance Journey is the only show that activates abundance for you, so you enjoy rapid results in your business. Here's your host, the Abundance Ambassador, Elaine Starling.
I really didn't think that I had anything heavy on my heart. I mean, I'm a pretty happy person. I'm pretty upbeat. I'm positive. I have great relationships. My life is really magical in a ton of ways. So, it never even occurred to me that there might be something heavy on my heart. Well, I was blessed to meet Dr. Marcia Martin recently. She's called the Heart Healer for a reason. We started chatting, and oh my gosh, we just kept talking and talking and talking and talking, and it just kept going. It was so beautiful and so effervescent and so fun. And through the course of our conversation, I realized, I actually do have an inner limiting belief that's holding me back. So I was chatting with her about it, and she very generously helped me work through it with the support of the angelic realm, which is truly her specialty. And she's utterly brilliant at it. And the transformation that I experienced was so profound, I wouldn't let her get off the call, off the meeting, until she agreed to be a guest on this show. And it's all her fault for being that good. Okay, I'm just saying, not my fault, it's her fault. So let me tell you a little bit about Dr. Marcia, the Heart Healer. She's a spiritual empowerment counselor, a metaphysical minister, a best-selling author, public speaker, and clairaudient angel communicator. She specializes in helping people heal their relationship with themselves. Listen to this. This is incredibly powerful. It's the most important relationship in the world, and it's the most difficult relationship we have, is the relationship we have with ourselves. And she's brilliant at healing that. Well, by healing the heart of all past pain and trauma, Dr. Marcia's clients establish and maintain very healthy relationships, both with themselves and with everybody else, so they can live a successful life. She has a very unique, heart-centered, energetic healing approach. It's called the Angel Heart Healing Technique. It enables you to build the perfect relationship with yourself and helps you answer questions like, who am I? Why am I here? And where am I going? Marcia helps you release your greatest fear so you can achieve your biggest dreams as you heal your heart and transform your life. Marcia, thank you for taking me up on it. Thank you for coming and joining us today. I'm so grateful and excited to have you here.
I'm thrilled to be here as well. You are so much fun, and I just love sharing the angels.
Wonderful. It was really funny because finally I was like, no, I have to start the recording. I have to, because we got started again. And we're just like, we're so in flow and we're having so much fun. It's like, oops, yeah, we're supposed to be recording this. So I always start with an intention. That's how we want to feel and what we want to create during our time together. And magic happens. It's kind of like calling your shots or typing in to spiritual GPS. This is where we want to go. And since you're so tapped in to the angelic realm, I know through the course of our conversation, you're going to get us there. But our job is to hold that intention. That's the vibration that the angelic realm, I call it the divine, that's how they tune in and understand what we truly want. It's really interesting. The latest research says that currently human beings have a shorter attention span than a goldfish, which has me a little concerned. But we have so many things going on, so many distractions, all the things we got to get done on the to-do list. There's so much noise going on between our ears. It's no wonder the angelic realm gets a little confused over what we'd like some help with. So by holding this intention, and we're going to hold it for 78 seconds, I do this every single day. And every single day, it feels like an eternity. 78 seconds is longer than you think, unless you tell yourself this is going to be super easy and fast and fun. So I'm going to start saying it's super easy, fast, and fun because that's how I want it to feel. Now, a couple of things that I do that I found incredibly helpful as I'm holding this space during the intention. The first thing is pick one or two words that really have that emotional embodiment of what we want to experience. And just say those words over and over to yourself in your mind so that you're holding that energetic vibration of feeling of what you want to feel. Okay, that's the first part. The second part is just notice the energy and how it's moving through your body. You might experience tingles or chills or a little heat wave comes up. I often experience expansiveness for seemingly no reason at all, except it's a sign that the angelic realm, the divine, is tuning into this desire and helping us make it happen. And what we're trying to do is get the energy moving. Okay, that's probably enough preamble. Shall we get started?
Let's do it.
All right. In love and light, we hold the intention that we tune in to the energetic heart center to find our fulfillment. Thank you, divine. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It is done. We give thanks, and so it is. Wow, that was really cool. I love hanging out with you.
Well, that was really interesting because they braided the energy together today. And that is never, I don't usually see that. It's usually an expansion, but I kept focusing on the words find our fulfillment. And it just kept showing me that we want union. We don't want to see ourselves as separate beings. We want union with all that we are, all the different beings, all of the ways in which we can interact with the energetic, angelic realm. Braid it together because then you become this invincible whole that can ride through those challenges with ease.
I love that. I love that. It's really interesting because I was focused on the energetic heart center because one of the key things that my initiatives are for this year and forever actually is really tuning inside with that self-reflection and noticing where I'm expanding for the energy and where I'm contracting. And it's interesting. Physically, we have to expand and contract, expand and contract. When you breathe, right? You breathe in, you expand, and then you contract to exhale. I mean, there's so many examples throughout all of our physicality where we need both. It's not an either or, and there's nothing bad about contraction. It's a part of growth. When we realize that that's okay, but I need to be aware, I need to be tuned in and really paying attention to what's going on. That awareness thing is the part that I'm working on. So I felt a lot of expansion just with that level of awareness that I'm really tuned into my energetic heart center and everything I need is inside me. Now, you said something really profound before we got started, and I wanted to catch it because I'm taking notes. The whole time you're talking, you are freaking brilliant, lady. And that's why I wouldn't let you off the phone last time, because I wanted more. So I'm taking notes. And before we even got started, you said, well, when we do the intention, we want to make sure people understand that you don't have to go anywhere to be here. You don't have to go somewhere to be here. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Well, they just said you carry it with you. And I think I know on my journey, they were always separate. They being any of the beings in the energetic realm, any energy that is connected with the divine. They were always separate. It was me and them. And then they were good and I was struggling, to put it nicely. And it is, you are a package deal. Because the energetic realm is omniscient, they can be anywhere at any time. And so they will, if they see that you are in need of whatever energetic support they can give you, they'll give you support. And Mary and Henry and Sue and Charlie, everybody gets what they need. It's just you. And automatically, it is you recognizing and tuning in. So stepping out of goldfish mode into, I choose to be alert and aware so that I can interact successfully with these presences that are here for my benefit, and then turn that into a life that feels abundant in all ways.
Oh, there's so much to unpack there. I'm really loving this conversation, but I really want to understand what got you started down this road. I mean, you are so passionate about this and you get it at such a deep, rich level. And another thing that you said, because I was like, I'm going to be taking notes. You're brilliant. And you were like, oh yeah, there is that time when you're going, wow, I didn't know that. And you're so in flow with it and it's so automatic. It's like breathing for you now.
Yes.
And there are those of us who aren't quite as automatic yet. So why are you so passionate about helping us connect with the angelic realm?
Well, I spend all day, every day now in the energetic heart center because that's how I actually do the work. So when I'm working with other people, I am focused, all of my focus is on the energetic heart center, but it has been a good 15 years of practice, and it was preceded by just falling off the cliff, by recognizing my life could not continue the way it was. I didn't like the option of suicide, even though I flirted with it, because I still had children that were dependent on me. Even though they weren't that young anymore. But because of trauma while they were growing up, we were still very much a unit and still are to this day, actually, a very interdependent unit of support. So I knew that even though part of me dearly wanted to check out and just be done with this and say, maybe next time I can make better choices and not end up here, it wasn't ever really going to be a reality. So I just got tired, I think. I just got tired of fighting, of always losing, and of giving more and more and more and getting less and less and less. And so I took a couple of classes here and there. Money was very tight, so it was very limited what I could do in terms of formal education. But I took a couple of workshops and got gifted a couple of programs here and there. But really, it was, I don't think I can fall any further into the darkness, and I like to read. What are my options? Well, the library. So I started reading the religion and spirituality section. And that was when I was just like, this isn't the religion I grew up with. This isn't a God that I know. wouldn't this be nice? I began with oh, it would be magical if any of this were true. And I thought, gosh, I just need it to be true so badly. I can't go in the direction that I've been going any longer. It's just done. So I guess I can try this. I'll just start applying some of these things and see if anything happens. I'll start doing more meditation. I will become a more active listener. I'll start looking for things that I didn't look for and begin taking responsibility for getting to this place, which was also a very eye-opening and exceedingly painful realization. So it was little by little, okay, I'm here, not because think people are mean and life is hard and I'm a victim, but because I actively participated in some way, even though I may not have known that I was participating. I have to see that I was, and that even though it hurts, is the open door. Because once I realized, ooh, if I'm participating, even though it was subliminal, maybe I can not participate. Maybe I can choose something else. Maybe I can stop this downward slide and start finding ways to build back up. So the first major realization was I am where I am because of the thoughts that I've been thinking and the feelings that I have been holding about those thoughts. And that took probably 6 months of running in the opposite direction before I was like, okay, I guess I'm here because of me. And then it was probably another 5 years before I understood that, hey, wait a minute. I kept telling myself I just need to learn how to be a better manifester, but aren't I really good at manifesting? Because look at all this horrible stuff that I've manifested. If I can do that, well, what's stopping me from manifesting what I do want? So that was another aha of, wait a minute. No, I don't need to be more powerful. Because look, I've been able to manifest all of these unwanted things. I need to be more focused and understand how to apply universal law so that I can manifest that which is desired.
I love that. I love that. There's so much that you said there that is so rich because I know I was blessed to have a stroke on New Year's Day 2005 and have a conversation with our higher power. And one of the key messages that I got was whatever you believe is true for you, not for anybody else, just for you. So look at your beliefs. And do they support you? Do they empower you? Do they uplift you? Do they make possibilities available to you? Or are you shutting yourself down? Because you're creating your own cage through your beliefs. It was a very clear message. You believe whatever you want to believe, and it's true for you. Congratulations. Here's the movie prize.
Yeah, you won. Yeah. And I love that.
Yeah,
I love describing it as a cage. I was very much in a cage. I was in the cage of I am a victim, and no matter how much good I do, I cannot undo the fact that I am ultimately a victim.
Yeah.
So,
And I loved what you said about resistance. For 6 months, I resisted. I resisted for 5 years after my stroke. I didn't tell anybody about this incredible conversation for 3 years after my stroke. I was just like, there is no flipping way. They're going to think I need to be in a loony bin.
No one will believe me.
Not happening. Yeah. But even though I kept getting messages and I was like, oh, shit, I'm going to
leave me alone.
Do something with this. Yeah. And so that resistance is the first step. And one of the things that I've learned since is that resistance is a sign this is where you have an opportunity to grow. So anytime you're feeling like, oh man, I just don't wanna, or oh, that feels icky, or that's scary. Yeah, congratulations. That's great. That means that you're on your way. Yeah. So it's interesting how that works.
And it is a very positive and powerful sign that you've outgrown where you are.
Yes.
And I think that's something that probably took me another 10 years to learn. Challenge does not mean, well, you screwed up again. It means you've outgrown whatever operating system that you ascended into. And now it's time again for an additional ascension, because we continuously grow.
Yes.
Always into the goal of every lifetime is to become complete as the divine are. So the divine are already complete, and each one of us, regardless of where we begin, is moving toward that journey or toward that destination to be complete as the divine are. Now, whether we ever get there, I doubt it. I don't know. I know I'm not there yet, but I'm delighted by how much I've been able to grow and how much more I know than when I began this journey.
Oh, that's wonderful. I have to ask the question because obviously this show's called The Abundance Journey. And here we are talking about the angelic realm. So given the kind of work that you do in helping people truly heal their heart, how would you define abundance?
Joy.
Mm.
It's joy. If we choose anything, any way that we want to live our lives, if we want to put our focus anywhere, if it's just, you've got only one thing you can focus on joy, focus on feeling. And joy is not ha, 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 ha all the time. Joy is a general feeling of well-being that feels as though it is flowing from you and you can't contain it. It is just the way that you feel, and it feels good. You don't feel pressured. You don't feel competitive. You don't feel any kind of disharmony. And for me, when I looked at the life of the Christ, and this was my doctoral dissertation, I compared the life of the Christ to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, because as a previous psychology student, I was all about Maslow's hierarchy, and as a good little victim wanting to do good, I was volunteering everywhere. And, I just have to help people have enough food to eat or whatever. I'm going to help them meet those basic needs so they can start climbing that triangle. But when you look at the life of the Christ, you see there was just joy. There was an understanding that because I am in unity, because I am whole as I am, because I understand the power of alignment, I can expect that everything I need in order to stay in this pinnacle place of joy will be added unto me, because God is loving, fair, wise, complete. They don't want to deny you anything. So if you make joy your pinnacle, then you can expect that which you need will become easier for you to receive, because you're not in that limitation state. You are free flowing in this, I can be as God is. And God is not wondering where their next meal is coming from.
Not at all. And I love what you're talking about, because I think so often we get trapped up in our heads, right? And we're focused on the external world and all the things that are happening out there. And it's very distracting. There's a lot of drama, trauma, excitement. And it's like getting caught up in a movie. We just get absorbed by whatever's happening around us. And I loved your idea of focusing on an emotion, because one of the things that I talk to all my clients about, anything that you want to have or experience, it's all because you think it will make you feel a certain way.
Oh, yeah.
It's always about the feeling. It's always about the emotion. Now, the one that I love joy. Absolutely. I'll totally take on joy. And I find that gratitude is the acorn of your abundance tree. Everything begins with gratitude. So when you can get in gratitude for anything, anything, bird song, the fact that you've got a cup of coffee. I mean, anything that you can be grateful for. It tips the scale towards more joy, towards more love, towards more everything else that you want. And when you can focus on that state of being, when I can be gratitude in every moment, I get so much more to be grateful for.
Yes, they're like hand-holding emotions because I'm living in this state of joy. It's automatic. Oh, thank you, Mother, Father, God. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That is pretty much my whole day. When something happens, which is I now expect something good to happen. So when it happens, I am automatically, oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. But the overarching feeling is that one of joy, of heightened expectation for good, as opposed to, oh, what's going to happen next?
Yeah, and that's another really powerful technique that I learned from one of my mentors, Deborah Poneman. She teaches Yes to Success. And she says, no matter what is happening, if it's good, if it's bad, it doesn't matter. You say, thank you, God. How can it get even better than this?
Oh, I love that.
And I love that because it's acknowledging to the God of your understanding that you already are blessed in several areas of your life. And maybe you're distracted temporarily by something that isn't quite where you want it to be. And you're acknowledging that there's lots of blessings already and you're ready for more. How can it get even better than this?
Love that. And I think also, remember, you can have a dialogue. This is not a one-way street where God says, okay, Marcia, today. No, this is when you meet that challenge. What is it that you want me to learn from this? How is it that I should best navigate this? Or what skills do I need to apply to this situation so that I can move through it more quickly? Get in your question mode. You have the best teacher in the world with your divine presence and all of their helpers, which are angels, archangels, ascended masters. You have unlimited amount of help. Be a really great student by not, darn, why is this happening? But, okay, what is it that I am supposed to be learning from this?
Yeah.
What technique should I apply to this? How is it that I should be thinking, feeling, acting so I can move through this more quickly?
I love that. This is fabulous. I mean, this is really amazing. Now, Marcia, you work with lots and lots of different people, but you've been doing this for a while now. You said the last 15 years. So I'm sure that you've kind of noticed trends. Like there are certain symptoms, certain characteristics that people show up with. And like you hit that dark night of the soul, hopefully people don't go that far before they tap in with you and get this incredible experience. What do you notice is typically going on that brings people to your door?
Oh, that's a great question. There's always the element of dissatisfaction. And I am finding that most of the people, well, not really most, 100% of the people that I work with are empathic. So they are deeply sensitive and they have a history of traumatic events. It can be trauma or abuse. And actually, when I first started this work, I didn't know who I was. I just knew I wanted to help. Again, I want to help. This is really cool. I love what you've been able to do with me, God. Let's experiment and see if this will work with other people. So I gathered up everybody who would be a guinea pig, and we just played for a year. I would just offer them free help for a year so that I could see what worked and what didn't. But generally, they come with a huge level of dissatisfaction, and it has crept out into almost every area of their life. So nothing is really working, but they are ready to do something different. I don't see them when they're in the nothing I can do will make a difference stage.
Right.
I see them when they are, I'm so frustrated by this and I'll do anything to make it better. Then you are ready to begin your journey because you recognize, okay, you can't sit still. It's just going to poke you in the brain until you want to scream and you don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And you generally will have a history of some sort of trauma or abuse because, and this was one of my early conversations with Mother God. And when I first started, I had such an anti-relationship with men, and with Father God, it was the only God that I knew, that male figure. And it was a cruel, domineering, judgmental kind of being that was just waiting for me to screw up in some way. So
How unpleasant.
yes, yes. And I was like, okay, I know this male figure and it's not pleasant. So who wants to deal with you? So it took me a while to be able to see them in their fullness and want to deal with the male aspect. And I'll explain what their different roles are in a minute. You'll understand the union a little bit better. So Mother God and I were having a conversation. I said, I don't know if you've noticed. I love my in my early days, I was always like, I'm not sure if you're paying attention, but let me call this to mind. And I'm like, now I'm like, oh man, you got patience, girl. Cause I would say idiotic things.
I think they have a sense of humor, frankly. I think they're very amused by our very incorrect slice of life. I know you're in the middle of the story, but I have to share this with you because I came across this tea towel. It made me laugh so hard I had to go and buy it. And on the tea towel it says, not to brag or anything, but I just finished that 14-day diet in 3 hours and 23 minutes. And I think a lot of us kind of come at life like that. And so, yeah, the angelic realm is just going, oh, man, you are missing it. You really don't get this, honey.
We got a new one here. Okay. But, my conversation with her is, I think you made a mistake because all of these people that are coming to me are deeply sensitive and they have horrible history of trauma or abuse. And that doesn't seem fair. Why would these deeply sensitive people have to be abused? Why weren't they coddled and loved and, made into these little sheep that we just get to pet all day? And she was like, well, isn't that interesting? Because all of you early awakeners who are empathic knew coming in that you would be wanting to bring to mind or to the world a new way of being, thinking, feeling, and doing. And it would not be accepted initially, and you would have to hold strong and not be swayed by other people's opinions or get knocked down because you met with a challenge. So all of you signed up for struggle in those early years so that it would create for you a kind of foundation that would support you as you step into the real work of your life, which is to help people understand the value of this relationship with the divine.
Wow.
Yeah, I was like, oops, okay. I don't think I'll bring that conversation up with you again. I think you do kind of know what's going on over here.
Man, oh man, I love what you're talking about. And I have a question for you because I know that we get distracted by that external world. And so often people think, well, something out there has to change. And then I can be happy. Yeah. And in reality, it's always something inside me has to change. And then my external world changes. So what did you notice about yourself in particular? Because you said you were resisting, and then you were practicing. Did you notice something that changed inside you that suddenly opened up your ability to communicate?
Everything changed. I had to go from one of the most self-condemning, self-critical individuals to fully self-loving. And it meant a lot of stuff had to go. A lot of self-conversations, a lot of belief systems, a lot of operating systems. Everything that didn't honor me had to go. And I had always been very good about honoring others, because I think part of that was because I didn't feel good about myself and had not been exposed to that, oh, you're so great, I'm so proud of you kind of thing. And I could feel how much it hurt. I didn't want anyone else to hurt. So I was always very good at honoring others, but I was so cruel to myself and so exacting of, well, that wasn't good enough, there was never, I could never get to a goal and celebrate. I would get to the goal and say, oh, okay, next. And so all of that behavior had to go. All of those beliefs, all the ways that I was limiting myself, all of the baggage that I was holding on to for other people, and then retraining on what is acceptable to say to myself.
Yeah, that is a journey for sure. And I know that that's one of the things that you help your clients with. Could you give us just like a baby step that we could take, something we can do that will really help? I mean, you already told us about joy and you already told us about asking questions, because it's a dialogue and you do get answers back when you tune in and you listen. Is there anything else that you would recommend we do right now from where we are, just to get a taste, get a flavor, and get us on the right path?
Absolutely. Well, first, I want to explain the Mother, Father, God structure.
Please.
So that we will not reject any part of ourselves. So if we look at the masculine aspect, and we must understand we are both masculine and feminine. So if we look at the masculine aspect, it is, if you were building a house, it is the framework of the house. You need the sides, the roof, you need the entire container. And it has to be a sturdy container. It must be there and it must not change from day to day if you're going to be able to operate. That is the masculine aspect of universal law or of the divine. But then the house is empty. So we bring in the female, the feminine aspect, and it's the color, it's the fabric, it's the furniture, it's what gives life to the house. But life that's chaotic is not going to move you in the direction of your highest good. So make sure that you have a sturdy framework, which is understanding universal law. And universal law is not things like, if you just say these words, your life is magically going to get better. Universal law is owning your part, but understanding how you must operate within the framework that has already been established, and that if you try not to, you're not going to get the result that you want. You can operate out here in your own creation, but you're going to get the chaos of operating outside of universal law. If you want predictable results that are going to happen again and again and again, you stay within the framework. And the framework is like attracts like. If you are holding negative thoughts, as I was, you are not going to attract wonderful circumstances or wonderful people to interact with. You're going to attract other negative circumstances and negative people because the ego loves to be right. And it will jump up and say, see, I told you so. I told you you're stupid. And then you'll start the big dialogue again.
Yep.
So understand that you cannot hold negative and receive positive. If you want to receive something better, you must become bigger here, better, open, honest, committed to honoring yourself, and be conscious. Because your feelings, you're the decorations now. Your feelings are what is generating that energetic vibration that is going to draw to you whatever is coming out. So while I was the garbage collector for everybody's negativity, I was not drawing to me pleasant experiences. Mm-hmm. I was drawing to me more experiences where I felt like the servant in the room. Yeah. Now, as an empathic being, you will always be in service. Sorry, that's what you signed up for. However, you are not in servitude. You are not a slave. You are in service because it brings you joy. It fills you from the inside out, and it lifts you in a way that no other opportunity can. But you are not the lowest person in the room. You are overflowing with your divine connection. So you'll feel like you're up in the heavenly realm as you operate from your true self.
I love that. Wow. That was a really brilliant explanation of how everything is combined into one thing. So I really get that visual. And that was one of the things that I've discovered too. Often in my conversations with the divine, with the angelic realm, I'll get an image, and that image of a braid and how the energy all weaves together, and nothing is unnecessary. It's all really valuable and adds to the whole. And you are a very instrumental part of that. I mean, one of the key things that we're here to do here on Earth is understand how we create energy, how we can direct energy, and how we can manage energy. And we do that. And we're in partnership with the divine, with the God of your understanding, with the angelic realm. We're in partnership with them. So we need to understand, how do we collaborate to do that, to generate that energy, direct it, and manage it. And that's really fundamental. I love what you're doing, because you are truly helping people clear the way so they can do that and be effective at it. Now, you offered an incredibly wonderful free gift, and I'd love to have you tell us a little bit about that.
It's an ebook. It's 11 Ways We Resist Angelic Assistance. And I have to say, before I share more about that, let's be really clear that no one can do anything to you without your consent. The place we get screwed up is your consent can be in your subconscious. If you are holding the belief system, I have no value, and therefore people are allowed to take advantage of me because I am really not worthy, that is consent. So really understand who you are at the core. Do not brush that under the rug. It is so important that you take the time to really understand you and what you are agreeing to. If you want things to change, it's going to begin in this energetic heart space that controls and supports the subconscious mind. So if you are feeling all sorts of turmoil, take a look. Ask the angels to support you in releasing that and replacing it with universal love, divine support, so that you can come from that place of, I am deserving, instead of, I don't have much value, so go ahead and take advantage of me.
And I love what you're saying here, because often people think, well, I'm all alone and I have to figure out how to do this, and I have to earn the right to get that support from the angelic realm. No, 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 no. You ask for it. You say, hey, yes, I'm ready to let this go. Please help me replace this.
And in this book, it'll show you 11 ways in which you may not realize that you are actively opposing their help. And so it's little things that we don't think about. What are your family beliefs? What are the cultural beliefs? Are you giving, that while I was having the conversation of, I'm not worthy, Mary is obviously prettier, wealthier, younger, better, whatever. While I was having the conversation of unworthiness, I was actively denying support in receiving anything that made me feel as though I did have value.
Yeah, because it's really interesting. I know that one of the ways we learn is our external world reflects back our internal world. Yeah. So if we don't feel worthy, we get experiences in the external world that make us feel like we are not worthy. And then they match. It's like a game of concentration. Yeah. These cards match, right? Yeah. And so we want to make sure that we're coming from joy, that we're coming from gratitude, that we're coming from love. And that state of being is really what you need to anchor in before you even remotely think about the doing part. All the doing flows from the being. The doing isn't first, the being is first. Yeah.
And also, no, it's not instantaneous.
No.
If anybody tells you,
no,
say this prayer and your life will magically change immediately, they don't understand the way this works. We're all on a delay. There's nothing that you can do to make it instantaneous until you get to the Christ consciousness level where you are so immersed in this that you can shift your reality that quickly. Most of us, because we do make mistakes, are on a delay that will give us a chance to say, oh, whoops, I didn't mean to send out, I hate myself. Okay, let me take a breath. Let me get back into my place of oneness with the divine. I can love and honor myself.
It is not a one and done. It's not a one and done. You get to practice. You know, you didn't learn how to walk by just getting up once. You had to bounce and bounce and bounce and build those leg muscles. And then you got to totter and fall down. Oops, you know, and pull yourself back up again. And it's a process, and it's well worth doing, because the difference between living such a small, compressed, unempowered, disempowered life versus an open, loving, deeply empowered life in complete and full alignment with the divine, with the angelic realm. I mean, you just can move mountains when you're in alignment and you're in flow. And the amazing thing is, you will see this, and I know you've experienced this, Marcia, the same stuff is there. It's kind of like before you had this intense tunnel vision and you could only see a few tiny things within that field of vision. Once you start adopting these processes and really owning it and looking inside and getting that relationship with yourself, it activates your peripheral vision. And all of a sudden, you're aware of things that were already there, but you couldn't see them. You couldn't experience them because you weren't able to witness it and experience it then. Yeah, it's amazing how all this happens. And I'm so grateful that you could join us today. Now, Marcia, we do something a little odd here with the Abundance Journey. We love to turn the tables on our guests because we know every time we give, we receive even more. So what can we do to support you?
Oh my gosh, how lovely. Well, as the angels always do, and this is something that all of you are going to experience on your journey, which is they're going to give you additional challenges and in the beginning, when they offer this to you, your first response will probably be mine, which is, no. You have the wrong person. I don't think you figured. I said to them, no, you don't know who I am. I don't do that. No. It sounds lovely. Get somebody else and I'll be part of it. But no, you don't want me to do that. I don't know how to do that. They don't listen. They have already seen you in your magnificence and your totality. Instead of listening, they will help you grow into whatever it is that they have shown you is your next adventure. And so I'm now at my next adventure after 15 years of recognizing, hey, they dropped that into my head like 15 years ago. And I was quick to say, that sounds great, but get somebody else to do it. And we now have the Heart Healing Foundation. So we are always honored, delighted, and excited to receive any kind of donation, large or small. And all of the money that you share with us goes to making sure that we can support others in counseling, and they pay whatever they can, even if it is zero. So we have people who have experienced horrible trauma. We've have people who just are struggling to get back on their feet. And unfortunately, with trauma, it doesn't stay in a little box. It's not something, well, that happened. Let me put that on the shelf and I'll deal with it when I can. Trauma seeps out throughout your entire life. And often you find that you are without a job, without financial support, without a home sometimes. It can take everything from you, but it doesn't take who you are. You're still you. You still have your intelligence, you still have your skill and your strength. What we do at the Heart Healing Foundation is help you remember who you are as we help you let go of all of this stuff that happened to you. And so we watch people rise from victim to victorious. They go from no job or dead end job or barely making it job to doing things that they love and being then able to contribute. And it's all because of people like you who have given generously to us.
That's wonderful, Marcia. Thank you so much for joining us today. You've given me a challenge because I have 3 pages of notes. 3 pages of notes, and I have to pick just one of all the things that you just shared with us to do the Activate Abundance segment around. I'm just going to have you back. Like, we're just going to have to have you all the time because this was so good and so powerful. Thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate it. Everybody stick around because we're going to be activating abundance in just a minute. Hi, it's Elaine Starling, the Abundance Ambassador, and I know since you're listening to this show or watching this show, The Abundance Journey, you really want to experience more abundance in your life. Well, that's why I wrote the book, 5 Steps to Activate Your Abundance. It's available for sale right now from Amazon, from barnesandnoble.com, and many international sellers. And I want you to pick up a copy because I'm really opening the kimono here and sharing all of the information you need to experience abundance in every single aspect of your life. The book's divided into 3 parts. Part 1 is called Meeting the Divine. This is where I share my near-death experience and the conversation I got to have with our higher power during my stroke. In Part 2, Messages from the Divine, I share the best practices that I was given, the secret sauce in how life actually works. And so you understand really why you're here and how you can make the most of your life so you love every single moment. And then in the Part 3 is Partnering with the Divine. That's where I go into each of the 5 steps to activate your abundance and explain exactly why it works so well. So take a moment to pick up a copy. It's available as an ebook, a paperback book, an audiobook, and a video course. So however you like to absorb information, abundance is waiting for you. You see what I mean about Dr. Marcia? She's freaking amazing. I could be on the phone and on a Zoom call with this lady all day long. I mean, astounding. I will definitely have her back. So step 1 is gratitude. And I did the gratitude thing because I love Marcia. And then I stepped right into step 2, which is acknowledge something you heard that was an aha for you. And for me, it was how nothing is wasted. And she used the example of Mother, Father, God. You need both. Nothing is wasted. She also used the example of people who are empaths often deal with a lot of trauma in their pasts, and that the purpose behind the trauma is to build strength and determination. And it's only when people get to a point where they go, damn it, something's got to change, that they're willing to shift and everything moves. So nothing is wasted. When you look at your life and you go, well, I like this part, I'm not so thrilled with that part, nothing is wasted. Everything is designed to be a blessing and a gift for you. And the puzzle is you get to figure out where it fits, right? You get to figure out, how is this a blessing for me? So step 3 is to appreciate the difference it can make in your life when you actually do what we were talking about with the acknowledge thing. Well, if absolutely everything is a gift in my life, and it doesn't matter whether I think it's a great thing or I think it's a challenging thing, it's still a gift. all of a sudden I look at it differently. I mean, honestly, when I was a kid getting socks as a present, I was not terribly thrilled with socks. These days, have you seen how expensive good socks are? You can spend $25 on a pair of decent socks. I love getting socks now. So don't think that what you're getting doesn't have value. All of it has value for you. Everything has value for you. Step 4, activate abundance. So what we do, we have 3 different ways that we can activate it. You can either grab your calendar and schedule time to do it. This doesn't really work with that scenario. You can create a physical trigger like crossing your fingers or tugging on your earlobe as a reminder of what you want to do. Remember that everything is a gift and a blessing for you. Or you can declare to other people like an accountability buddy or a coach, everything is a blessing for me. And I need to remember that everything is a blessing for me. So if I'm ever acting like or describing something in derogatory terms and pretending that it's not a blessing, please remind me that no, it really is a blessing. And my job is to figure out, how is this a blessing? Because nothing is wasted. Everything is perfect. So for me personally, I'm declaring it to you. And I don't always remember. I know many of you have heard my parking lot story where I was backing out of a parking place and somebody honked and I took it personally and I was not happy. I was thinking all sorts of very unpleasant things about this person, and the divine interrupted me and said, wait a minute, everything's designed to be a blessing for you. So stop making up a story that it's not a blessing and start making up a story that it is. What would it look like if it had been a blessing? And I had to really think about it. I came up with a couple of different ideas, and then it hit me. I'm the one preventing the blessing from getting in because I'm the one making up the story. The divine is sending me unending blessings, unending opportunities. I have to let it in, and I'm the only one who can. And it's all based on how I think about it, what I say to myself as I experience it. Step 5, celebrate your progress. You are making leaps and bounds towards spiritual expansion and spiritual mastery. In every single moment, we have the opportunity to practice our spiritual mastery. And sometimes we rise to the occasion and we're on it and we're great and we're in the zone. We're perfectly aligned with the divine in the angelic realm. Other times, we get to grow. We get to see opportunities for growth. And that's the only way you can grow is when you make a mistake. And instead of beating yourself up, you can look at it and go, wait a minute, nothing is wasted. This is a gift. Blessing. You are such a huge blessing in my life. Thank you for being here. And I'll look forward to seeing you next time.
You've been listening to the Abundance Journey Show with Elaine Starling. Visit theabundancejourney.com/podcast gifts to access today's gift, as well as gifts from our other guests. Tune in every week to activate abundance in your life and business. If something resonated with you, please share it with your friends so they can benefit too. Keep activating abundance, and we'll see you in the next episode.